You can see here we have a question from Nanocosm. This question asks, as close as possible to the pad when talking about silkscreen is a good example of the footprint problem too. That comes down to the fab you use, correct? Now, I can't tell you the number of footprints I have seen from third-party providers where the silkscreen gets a little too close to the copper pads. You can see here one example that comes close to being a bad design, but it's not that far off. Here on screen on the left side, we have an example of an integrated circuit where some silkscreen is placed underneath the component. And you can see here it's getting close to the edges of the pad. It's actually getting close to the edges of the solder mask opening, but I've seen many other footprints where the silkscreen comes right up next to the copper pad and even falls over the solder mask opening. This could be a problem because there's always some limit on the level of precision of silkscreen application during PCB fabrication. You'll need to maintain some minimum clearance between the edge of the solder mask opening or the edge of the copper pad and that silkscreen. Now, some PCB fabrication houses will clean this up for you. For example, if you have silkscreen falling on copper pads, they will segment out that silkscreen so that they remove it from the copper pads in your fabrication data. But not all PCB fabricators are going to do this. Some will just run the silkscreen exactly as they see it, and they're not going to tell you about it. The result is that you could have information that was important in your footprint that no longer appears on your board because essentially it got printed directly onto a piece of copper and then eventually got cleaned off, or it can rub off. If some of that silkscreen remains on exposed pads during soldering, it could interfere with formation of solder joints, and of course that's really bad for reliability in PCB assembly. Now, this is one of the most common problems that I see on the 1-minute design review submissions on the Altium Academy channel, but there is a design rule that will check for this automatically. You can set a clearance value between the applied silkscreen and the solder mask opening or the exposed copper in the PCB rules and constraints editor in Altium Designer. There are similar design rules in other PCB design applications that you can use to perform the same type of automated rules check.